This happened to my older sister when she was at college down in San Diego. My sister and her friend were playing tennis off campus one night, and her friend decided to bail early to go home. My sister decided to stay a bit longer for whatever reason. Anyways, she packs up and starts walking back to her car in the parking garage while chatting on the phone with her boyfriend, now husband, Justin. As she reaches her car in the garage, she notices that she has a flat tire. Kind of odd considering it was fine a couple of hours ago, but nonetheless she's not too concerned. Justin offers to hop in the car and make the 10-minute drive to come help her repair it. As she sits waiting for Justin to show up, a man appears seemingly out of nowhere. She doesn't notice where he came from, just noticed him kind of being there all of a sudden. She described him as a younger guy, well-dressed and well-groomed. They strike up a conversation, and after a couple of minutes, he asks if she needs any help fixing the flat. She politely declines and mentions that Justin is on his way to fix it. The guy says he really wouldn't mind helping her out and that it wouldn't take long at all. Seeing as how it was late and she wanted to go home, she gave in to get out of the spare tire and tools. Justin pulls around the corner in his truck. After Justin gets out and talks to my sister for a second, they notice that the guy is walking down the closest stairwell in a pretty quick hurry. They don't think much of it at the time and go to the trunk to get the tools and tire. When they get to the trunk, they notice that it's not latched closed. They open the trunk and inside they find multiple ropes, a roll of duct tape, and some zip ties, none of which belonged to my sister. Justin immediately calls the police and starts looking for the guy. Police showed up and talked to my sister but never found the guy. I still get chills when walking through parking garages late at night. This happened 14 years ago when I was 17. I still don't know what to make of the situation all these years later, but I swear on my life it is true. I have only ever talked to my brother about this event. Basically, my parents had gone away on holiday to Ireland for the week, and my brother was away at university. My grandparents lived about half a mile away, so I would have food and sleep over their house. She cooked a very good chicken dinner. I would always go home every day after school, so I could feed the fish, water plants, and chill out. I would then make my way over to my grandparents' house afterwards. Now, nothing out of the ordinary happened all week. It was all pretty routine and rather peaceful, until Thursday. Thursday was different because I had no lessons in the afternoon. I had a driving lesson from 6 to 8 p.m. So I left school early that day to have a few more hours at home. So I arrived home at around 1 p.m. and something felt wrong. It's quite hard to explain that feeling, but was all just a bit odd. I unlocked the back door and walked through the kitchen into the living room. Bizarrely, a pair of my father's socks were in the middle of the floor. Some family photo frames on the piano had also been knocked over. I checked the rest of the house. All the windows and doors were locked and nothing else was out of place, just like it was the previous day. My first thought was that maybe my brother had come from university and had been there the night before. It was possible, but seemed very unlikely. I carried on my routine as normal and fed the fish, etc., and waited for my driving instructor to pick me up for the lesson. So I did my driving lesson as usual and got back home at just after 8 p.m. It was pitch black outside now, so I went into the house and quickly grabbed my school bag, double-checked the locks and windows. Everything was in order. I left the house via the back door. I walked around the side of the house and I stopped. Now, our garden is full of bushes, trees and plants, and it was dark out. The only static light was from the dimly lit orange street lights. We live on a main road which is made up of semi-detached and terraced housing types. There is always cars driving past. From my right, I notice a tall man walking along the pavement, which is around 60 foot from where I stood. So I decide to let him walk past. I hate people walking behind me, and with the strange stuff earlier, it seemed like a good idea. I was expecting him to just simply walk past the house, but next thing I heard the loud creaking noise of gate being opened. My first thought was, someone had been in the house. Next thing, he starts walking up the steps of the path towards the front door. He was very tall but skinny and of Indian ethnicity. I decided to leave the shadows and ask him, "What do you want?" He looked startled and responded with, "Oh, I'm lost. What house number is this?" So I say, "It's number 18. He thanks me and walks off. He didn't say anything other than that. I wasn't exactly going to press him with questions. Maybe he was genuinely lost after all. Nothing else unusual happened after that, and I kind of wrote the whole thing off. I asked my brother whether he had been home for that week, and he has promised me he never came home at any point. The strangest thing was, if the tall man was lost, why did he go up to the house, which is the most obscure on the street? I find it impossible he could have seen me from the pavement unless he had somehow been sleeping in the house at night.